Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you spoke 20 languages? Think about it. All the people you could speak to, all the opportunities and the doors it could open, all the places you could travel to and actually connect with the local people. How healthy, active, and sharp your brain would be. How much of a genius you would be considered among your peers. Who knows? You might find love like I have. How radically different your life would be. I mean, you could literally live 20 different lives. Visualize it. And what if I told you you could actually learn all of those languages in just 10 years? Is Limitless your favorite movie because it inspires you and motivates you to become more intelligent so that you could achieve everything you desire? Learning languages is one of the best ways to increase your intelligence and making use of your brain power. In today's video, I will share with you a great secret, which is very simple yet very powerful. First of all, who am I? My name is Matt, I'm Canadian, and at 17 years old, I could only speak one language, which was French, being French Canadian. But I made the decision to improve my English and learn Spanish. I thought in North America, it could only be a good thing to speak very good English and Spanish. Duh. But I would have never expected that 7 years later, I would be speaking 7 languages very well and 7 others at a beginner level. So yeah, you could say 14. I made 9 videos so far of me speaking in the languages that I learned. You can judge for yourself if I speak well. Bom dia, galera! Tudo bem? Buona mattina, buongiorno, buonasera, amici miei. Guten Morgen, guten Tag, guten Abend, meine liebe deutschsprachigen Freunde. Здравствуйте, привет, мои дорогие русскоговорящие друзья. Привет, витаю, мои украинские друзья. Cześć. Dzień dobry, dobry wieczór. Jó reggelt, jó napot, jó estét kívánok. Sziasztok. Salut, bună dimineața, bună ziua, bună seara. Tjena, hallå, god morgon, god kväll. This is my YouTube channel where I want to do 3 things. Number 1, inspire people to learn a foreign language. Number 2, broaden your horizon to learning languages which you would have never thought of before. And number 3, give tips on how to go about it. In my first years of learning languages, I unconsciously unlocked something, but I was totally unaware of it. This is the secret. If you want to learn a high number of languages in a time span of 5 to 10 years and boost that number, you need to learn key strategic languages. Let me repeat that. Key strategic languages. Languages that will open you the doors to many others, which will then be a lot faster and easier to learn, and will give you a major head start. Quick disclaimer though, this video is not about my strategy to learn a language from zero, my tips and techniques to learn grammar, vocabulary. That's gonna be the topic for my next video. It's more of a blueprint, a game plan. So here's what I would do if I were you. I would start by learning 3 languages. 1 Latin, 1 Germanic, and 1 Slavic. Matt, why those 3 language families? Because they're big, they have a lot of languages in them. And in those 3 language families, I would start with the one with the most native speakers, and then the second with the most, and then the third, and so on. I would go with this order because they're going to be the languages you'll get the most chances of practicing. So here's what I would do. Learn Spanish, learn German, and learn Russian. Yeah, for the Germanic language family, English is the most spoken language, but if you're watching this video, I guess you already speak English. Those 3 languages are going to be the foundation. So it's extremely important that you go hard, that you give your best, that you don't quit, and that you go through the difficulties. Would you build your house on a weak foundation? Seriously, come on. Of course not. See it like this. Spanish opens you the doors to Portuguese, French, Italian, and Romanian. So 4 new languages with Spanish. German opens you the doors to Dutch, Danish, Norwegian, Swedish, and Icelandic. So 5 new languages with German. Russian opens you the doors to Ukrainian, Polish, Czech, Serbo-Croatian, Bulgarian, Slovak, Slovene, Belarusian, and yeah, maybe Macedonian. So 9 new languages with Russian. Seriously. If you just learn Spanish, German, and Russian, I swear to God, you can literally learn another 17 languages quite easily. Every linguist would agree. It's pretty common sense, to be honest. And this is the amazing thing about it. Each language you learn in a family makes the next one a lot easier and faster to learn. The more languages you learn in a language family, the easier the rest becomes. You gain confidence, you believe in yourself, and it does a snowball effect. Your 5th language in a specific family will be much easier than your 1st or your 2nd. After I learned Spanish, I was totally confident in myself that I could actually pull off to learn Portuguese. I mean, come on, think about it. If you speak C1 Advanced Spanish and you have a hard time understanding Portuguese, there's a big problem, dude. If you speak B2 Upper Intermediate German and you see a text in Dutch and you cannot recognize any words, dude, there's a big problem. If you speak Russian and Polish and you find it impossible to learn Ukrainian, you're either really dumb or you simply just don't speak Russian and Polish. That's it. So here's the plan for you guys. Every 2 years, you will learn 3 new languages. I think it's realistic. I think it's doable. Anybody that ever studied at college or at university, I'm 100% sure they can pull it off. Yeah, but Matt, 3 languages. That's a lot. Yeah, I know. But those 3 languages, remember, are from completely different families. There's no way you can mix them up. They're completely different. So here's the plan. For the first 2 years, year 1 and year 2, you learn Spanish, German, and Russian. And then for year 3 and year 4, you learn Portuguese, Dutch, and Polish. For year 5 and 6, you learn French, Swedish, and Ukrainian. For year 7 and 8, you learn Italian, Norwegian, and Czech. For year 9 and 10, you learn Romanian, Danish, and Serbo-Croatian. So yeah, you're going to be at 15 languages, and the year after, the rest are pretty much Slavic languages, smaller languages, and yeah, you can take your time to learn Icelandic, Bulgarian, Belarusian, Slovene, Slovak, and so on. Now, before going further to my best tips, I want to be 100% clear on the following. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Dude, who cares if it takes you more than 10 years? Or if you learn less than 20 languages? Honestly, how many people do you personally know that speak 20 languages? Come on. And please, this is a big one. Take the time to enjoy and appreciate each language. Each is so unique and rich. It can offer so many things. Beautiful places to discover, beautiful cultures, beautiful people to meet, amazing friendships, delicious food. Frankly, it isn't too much a matter of self-accomplishment or boosting your ego, nor is it about the number, but a matter of having more opportunities. Just one language can offer you so much, right? Imagine 20. So pretty much think big, have the bigger picture in mind. When learning Spanish, German, and Russian, don't just think 3 languages, think 20. Be bold, be open-minded, open up your horizon. So here are my 4 best tips to keep in mind before learning those languages. Tip number 1, never start learning 2 or 3 languages in the same family at the same time. For example, starting to learn Russian, Polish, and Ukrainian at the same time. I remember recently I was learning Ukrainian, Polish, Czech, Serbo-Croatian, and Bulgarian all at the same time and from 0.
Привіт, вітаю. Як справи?
Cześć, jak się masz?
Ahoj, jak se máš?
Zdravo, kako si ti? Kako ste?
Здрасти, здравей, как си?
Bad idea, dude. Tip number 2, if learning 3 languages at the same time, even though from 3 different families, is too overwhelming, then slack 1. Just do 1 or 2 at a time. No problem. Tip number 3, wait to reach at least B2 or C1 in a language before moving on to another language in the same family. For example, let's say you reached A2 in Swedish. Don't jump to Norwegian just yet. Your foundation isn't solid enough. Tip number 4. Avoid grammar at all costs, especially at the beginning. Try to be like a child. Absorb it like a sponge. Don't study grammar tables. It's too complicated. For Spanish, German, and Russian, do not get discouraged about. In Spanish, the two verbs to be, ser y estar, when to use por y para, for and per, the subjunctive, el subjuntivo. For German, don't get discouraged with the grammar cases, the word order, okay? Take it as it is. And for Russian, the last thing you need to be intimidated by is the alphabet, okay? And do not get intimidated by the Russian grammar case system. It really isn't harder than German. Now, frankly, the only problem you might encounter when learning a lot of languages in the same family is that you might start to mix them up and confuse them, but that is 100% normal. No problem. It's okay to do mistakes. For example, you've reached a really good level of Spanish and now you're ready to start learning Italian. You meet some Italians and by mistake, you use some Spanish words. Well, what do you think? The Italians are gonna think, that guy's pretty smart. He actually speaks Spanish. Yeah, so frankly, it's a double-edged sword. You know, in Polish, to say how are you informally to one person, you say jak się masz.
Jak się masz? Jak się masz? Jak się masz?
And in Czech, you say jak se masz. So if you speak Polish, obviously you're gonna recognize it. But if they're not your native languages, you might start to say jak se masz in Polish and jak się masz in Czech. Totally legit. Those are called polyglot problems. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever had some. Hey Matt, what about Mandarin, Japanese, Korean, Arabic? What about those languages, Matt? Yeah, fair question. My advice is, if you want to learn 20 languages in 10 years, don't learn those languages, okay? Don't learn Asian languages, don't learn Arabic, don't learn Finnish, don't learn Hungarian. And here is the reason. These languages have no relatives. They're not similar to any other languages. They're pretty much alone in their own families. I mean, frankly, from what I've seen, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese are really different from each other. No way it's like French, Spanish, and Portuguese. No way, no way. Plus, Arabic, Mandarin, Japanese, those are, yeah, beautiful languages, but still they're very hard. They're very complicated. And in my experience, they're so hard that learning Arabic would be the equivalent in efforts and time of learning, let's say, 4 languages that are related to each other. So really, it's 100% up to you. Do you want to learn only 5 or 6 really difficult, challenging languages, or learn 20 languages that are all really similar to each other? I mean, both options are legit. It's 100% up to you. However, it doesn't mean you can't learn them in the future. I mean, right now I'm focusing on Latin, Germanic, and Slavic languages, but in the future, for sure I will study them all. Mandarin, Korean, Japanese, Arabic, Hebrew, Turkish, Persian, you name it. However, I am absolutely aware that I will start from scratch, from zero, and that they'll be really difficult and different from what I'm used to. All the Germanic, Latin, Slavic languages in the world will never help me out. Remember, this video is if you want to learn 20 languages in 10 years, not if you want to learn, let's say, 5 languages in 20 years, okay? I mean, it's written in the title, how to become a hyperpolyglot fast. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments where you're from, what languages you speak, and what languages you want to learn in the future. And for now I say, until next time.